Wednesday, July 22nd, 2020. So I watched the Last Dance on Netflix. I'm really glad it came out on Netflix. I've been wanting to watch it. And I mean, there's so much that I got out of that. I don't know. I'm not even sure where to start. I guess I'll start on Michael Jordan himself. You know, people were saying like, comes off like an asshole or he's a dickhead in it or whatever. You're not gonna like him by the end of it. And I don't know how other people have taken The Last Dance, but I fucking love Michael Jordan now. I remember as a kid, I liked Michael Jordan because like I was a black kid in the 90s. It was a requirement, really. That's an absolute requirement. That's like, you know, that's like being a white kid in the 90s and loving Wayne Gretzky or like Tony Hawk. It's just a requirement. These are the rules, the lay of the land, if you will. No, I love him. There was not one moment in that series where I was like, oh man, he took it too far. No, fuck that shit. I loved every single thing he did. I loved every single second of that series. I loved it. And one of the things, and this is gonna sound super egomaniacal, but I'll do my best to word this in a way that doesn't make me seem like I'm up my own ass completely. And that is, how do I word it? Okay, here's how I word it. People like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or David Goggins or Joe Rogan or Dave Chappelle, but people like that are crazy. I think there's a particular type of crazy, and that you can be that type of crazy and still never amount to anything based off of your environment, or you can be that type of crazy and reach unbelievable heights like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, or you could be that type of crazy and reach disturbing lows like Donald Trump. There's this mentality, or there's this, I'm even gonna call it a deficiency. You could even call it a deficiency. Like when I watch, there's points where I think Michael Jordan was like playing quarters, like who can get the quarter closest to the wall. I've never seen somebody so passionate about getting a quarter closer to the wall than another person. Like the level of competitiveness that is in his body is, it's good that he found, it's really good that he found a healthy outlet. Like if his goal was like, I'm gonna be the greatest school shooter of all time, he would have wiped out an entire senior year class. Like this dude is really crazy. Like he is out of his fucking mind. And I think back, and I'm gonna compare myself now to some of the greats. So, you know, just know that I don't, it's hard to explain, but like, I get it. Like when he's talking, it is exactly how I think and feel in my head. Or when I talked about Dave Chappelle and the opening to his special, it's exactly how I feel in my head. And I was thinking like, okay, well, if I have this similar mentality of Michael Jordan or like Kobe, if there's that same thing that might be wrong with me, and I equate that to my upbringing, and if I put that in my upbringing, if I think about like, what would have happened to Michael Jordan if everyone pushed him away from the things he wanted, sports in particular. Like there was even a point where he was getting in some trouble and his dad was like, I'm going to take away sports from you. And he was like, oh, okay, I won't rob people anymore, whatever he did. I can't remember. If you took away, like imagine, watch The Last Dance and look at the fucking intensity in Michael Jordan. Look at the energy that he has to achieve a goal. And then imagine if you stripped away the goal from him, but he still had the personality and he still had the energy. That seems kind of what happened to me. That's the vibe that I get for myself. Is I remember being a kid, I remember being super competitive. Like I would cry if I lost. I would get really angry. I remember being competitive, and I remember getting to a point a little before middle school where I was like, I need to put this in check because like it's embarrassing for one. It's embarrassing to lose and then weep out of just raw and like wanting to win so bad. That's fucking embarrassing, especially as like a little boy. And just knowing like I don't know how to explain, like I had to really push down that instinct. Whereas someone like Michael Jordan seemed to have been encouraged to let it flourish. Or someone like Kevin Hart was encouraged to let it flourish. Someone like Dave Chappelle, his mom, encouraged him to let it flourish. So I really need to reiterate, this is not me saying I'm ever gonna reach the heights of those guys. But God damn it, am I gonna try? It's not gonna hurt. There's nothing to lose. I keep thinking that there's nothing to lose. I might as well try. How is it gonna hurt to try to reach those heights? And yeah, I was thinking like, I don't know, let me gather my thoughts on this. Okay, I think it really got awoken at first. This feeling got awoken at first when, in the very beginning of this podcast, when I was trying to find motivation, and I started listening to Rogan and Goggins, like a lot, and Kevin Hart, like inspirational shit. I was listening to it, and it made sense to me, but I think I just needed to dig all of the baggage out of my body. I just had to drag all of that baggage out of the garage. I had to grab that old Huffy bicycle that's been hanging at the top of the garage for like 15 years. I had to just get rid of all of that shit. And at the time, not to say I don't have hold up, that's probably loud. All right, whatever. Baggage, yeah. So at the time, I had all of this baggage. And not to say I don't still have baggage, but I had like a lot more baggage. I had a lot more issues, a lot more insecurities or whatever. And I'm still trying to find myself, still trying to do it now. But when I watched it, I remember getting like jacked. I remember getting jacked up and being like, I need to go I need to put in work, stay hard, just all that shit. Like I was in it. And it got to a point where it was like not healthy. It got to a point where it really wasn't healthy because at the time, and I think this is what's clicking here, at the time, all of that energy was also being pushed onto other people. So like when I was like in the buddy system, all of that, let's go fucking do this, was pushed on other people. And the more time goes by and the more I talk with people, the more I'm like, God damn, like none of you guys have this fucking drive for whatever reason. I don't know, or not many people seem to have this similar absolute obsession, this tunnel vision. And I remember like there's a level of anger that comes with that type of drive, I would say. When you watch Last Dance and you hear MJ like try to find there's a point where he makes up a story. Like he lost or something, and he made up a story in his head about another basketball player saying something like disrespectful or being condescending or whatever. And then the next game, it fucking embarrassed him in front of thousands of people. And then it cuts to him and he's like, oh yeah, I just made that story up in my head. It's like, this guy's out of his fucking mind, and I love him. Oh, I fucking love this guy. It's awesome. It's so cool. And there's another point where I think it's like BJ something, I don't know. A dude wins. He hits a shot, a game-winning shot. He wins. He celebrates. He like, I don't know. He does some Spartan shit and yells or whatever. He kind of taunts. He taunts Jordan a little bit. And the next game, Michael Jordan comes off like a for real supervillain. Like this was the origin story. Was BJ taunted him on the court, and then something snapped in him and he changed, and he built like an underground layer, and he got a butler, and he got a bunch of lasers and shit, and he's like, I guess time to take over the world. It was hilarious and disturbing. He was sitting in the locker room and he was holding a baseball bat. He's swinging the bat around, but not like angry, real calm. And he's just talking to himself. He's like, yeah, okay. All right, yeah. It's easy to talk shit when you're on top. It's easy to talk shit when you're winning. But when it's 0-0 or when you're down, you're gonna talk shit when you're down. He's just like amping himself up, and he looks terrifying. And I fucking love that shit. Oh, I ate every second of that up. It was awesome. Because I said, oh yeah, so going back to Goggins and Rogan. So I got that initial push, and it feels like, if anybody here drives stick shift that's listening, is like going into first. You can't go into fifth when you start your car. You have to go into first and then gradually move up. It felt like listening to Goggins and Rogan and Kevin Hart in the beginning was pushing and shifting into first, like getting the car started, but trying to go too fast in first gear. That is only going to make sense to people that know how to drive stick shift. But it was like going too fast in first gear. And so I had to calm myself down and whatnot. And then as time has gone by, and as I've learned about myself, according to all the cute shit, the easier it is to shift in higher gears. And yeah, I think that metaphor makes sense. I don't know. But the other thing I need to keep in mind here, and I don't want to make this mistake, is that stand-up comedy and art, or an art form like this, it's not the same as basketball. It's not the same as being a Navy SEAL or trying to do the most pull-ups. There's this numeric value that comes with like a sport or a physical activity like that. And there's numeric value in getting subscribers, which felt really hollow. And there's numeric value in getting an audience members to come out to your show. Or there's numeric value in how much money you make. But I need to figure out how to channel this fucked up, aggressive energy into something that will improve me as a comedian. And that's going to be the hard part. Like, when watching him, it was like, oh, I just have to get mad at this person, this team, this city, this referee. I'll just get mad at my mom, and I'll go out there and pretend I'm about to break this bitch's ankles. Like, that's kind of how he seems to think of things. And I've done that. It doesn't work in this art form. It doesn't work. That mentality doesn't fit what I'm doing. So I need to figure out a way to finesse it so that it works with stand-up comedy. And I'll figure it out over time. But that hunger and that desire to be the best, that's what I want. I just want to be the absolute best comedian. And that's it. That tunnel vision is what got him success. That tunnel vision seems to be what has gotten Kobe success. That tunnel vision got Rogan success. It got Goggins success. I don't know about Chappelle. He seems a little more chill. He smokes way too much cigarettes to have that level of focus. I don't know. I don't know the guy. Hashtag Aaron meets Chappelle. Then maybe I'll find out. But Kevin Hart. There you go. Okay, that's a better example. Kevin Hart, just laser focused on success. And I'm trying to figure out, like, what is success to me? And obviously, again, I always have to reiterate this. Like, I need to be able to make money. I need to live off of this. But that's part of success. But the number one goal now, I think, and it's been my goal, but now it's even more laser focused. The number one goal is be the best stand-up comedian. If I am to compare the way MJ thinks of his opponents, then the equivalent of that as a comic is like, I want you to put my name on the list, and I want everybody behind me to be fucking nervous. Like, I want you to see my name on that list and think to yourself, oh man, I want you to come up to me and say, hey man, can you go after me? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, just a favor. Like, I want that. I was watching Last Dance, and you got to understand, I don't know if you're any basketball fans here, but I know I don't talk about sports. I don't talk about sports often because I got forced into it. I think I would have enjoyed sports a lot more as a kid if I chose to do it. But I do have an appreciation and love for basketball because I grew up doing it. And, you know, when you got to understand, when you're watching the NBA, you're essentially watching the greatest. Oh, hold up a second. You know what else? I think this mentality is going to help me with dealing with this neighborhood. I just walked past the Blue Lives Matter house, and there's people out there. They're not the friendliest. They don't have the friendliest vibe. Fuck them. That does not matter right now. The only thing that matters is to be the best stand-up comic, regardless. Basketball. Yeah. So when you watch, people got to understand, like, when you're watching an NBA basketball or MLB or whatever, when you're watching a professional sports, you're watching some of the greatest athletes, not only in the world, in like history. You're watching the greatest, most competitive people on the fucking planet. And all of them bowed down and licked Michael Jordan's boots. I'm exaggerating. That's obviously, you know, they have their own pride. There's people he clearly butt heads with who would refuse to bow down, if you will. But like every interview, there was a guy who was like, I mean, he's Michael Jordan. Like, even when they won, they were scared. Like, they won, and then they felt almost like they regret winning. They regret beating him because he would come back and whoop their ass so bad. He'd whoop their ass like a black mom in a grocery store with a kid trying to buy Skittles. Like, he fucking demolished people. And mentally speaking, that's what I want. When people see my name on a list, that's the reaction. When people see my name on a show, on a flyer or whatever, it doesn't matter if we're fucking in a dive bar, doesn't matter if we're in a brewery, doesn't matter if we're in a coffee shop, on the street, in a comedy club, in a stadium, I could give a fuck. When people see me on that flyer, I want them to be, in comics, I want them to be fucking nervous. And I'm not there yet. I'm not even close. That's the other thing, is like, I'm not even close, and I know it, and it frustrates. I think that's one of the other reasons why I'm so obsessed with it, is because I know I suck. I know I suck. I've been listening back to old episodes to do the recap for episode 200, and I fucking suck. I know I do. Don't worry, comics who potentially are listening who are like, man, this guy's an idiot. He's egotist, whatever. Like, don't worry. I'm aware I suck, but I'm gonna just keep fucking grinding. That's it. That's what it is. So I gotta figure out how to channel this energy, other than that competitive nature when it comes to being on the list and, you know, scaring other comics. Like, I want to have fun. Like, that's part of it too, is that stand-up comedy is different. It's not basketball. You know, when I'm on stage it's not like I'm telling jokes against another comedian. I'm telling jokes in a show, and I want the show to be better. And you know what? I want the comics around me to be good. And that's something that when talking to Danny Frank, I did an episode of his podcast recently. You know, apparently comics thought that, like, I said something about wanting to make a monopoly in the IE. And I guess comics, I don't know who, but comics interpreted that as me saying, I want other people to not be successful, which is the opposite of the truth to me. I want you to be successful. If you're a comic and you're listening and you're in, I guess, my class or whatever, you're in my area. I want you to be successful and I want you to be good. I just want to make sure I am better than you. That's that's really it. Like, I want to work hard. I want you to be good. I love performing with KJ because he's better than me. I keep saying this. He is better than me. He is a better comedian. And that's why I'm around him, because what is it? Iron sharpens iron. Like, I want to get better. If I'm around a bunch of fucking weak comics, if I'm around people that are at my punk ass level, I'm not going to get better. That's not going to make me want to improve, because I'm going to feel like I'm good when I'm not. I want you to be good. I want to be around comedians that are good. And I want to get better at this. God damn it, I need to get better at this if I want to survive in it. But yeah, and I was just thinking about my upbringing, thinking about the decisions I was making before stand-up comedy, the decisions I was making. I can see why I made them. I can see why, like, if I do really have the thing that is wrong with me, and only time's gonna tell, depending on the future, this will either age beautifully, this will be the most inspiring episode of all time, or this will be fucking embarrassing. Either way, I don't give a shit. What was I saying? Okay, that's right. When I look back to what I was doing, I look back to like elementary school, middle and high school and college, I look back to my behavior and I think like, all right, well, what would Michael Jordan, or what would Kobe Bryant, what would Donald Trump, you even use Donald Trump, what would those guys be like had they not been encouraged in any way? Not only encouraged, I think if left alone, if left to their own devices, they would have ended up essentially where they ended up for the most part, if not good at something else. But what if since childhood, since like being a little kid, everybody around them, family, friends, school, everybody around them actively pushed them down and pushed down that desire and that hunger and pushed them away from productive activities like sports or I don't earning money. What fucking prostitutes? I can fuck the most prostitutes in a golden hotel. I don't know what Trump was doing in his youth. Probably just trying to earn money. Regardless, if people had pushed Donald Trump away from trying to earn money from the thing that he wants to do, he would not have become. Well, this got depressing. Let's move away from politics and all of this. I think about like. I think it is. I'll go negative, then I'll end on it positive, so that positivity. On the negative route, and I think I said this before, negatively speaking, it put me in a place where like extreme depression, suicidal tendencies, poor decision making in general, completely destructive behavior, because I can't help my personality. I cannot help who I am just naturally, and that those instincts that I have of doing a thing and being competitive and just being interested in things, just doing shit. And I think like I know I would have been successful. Like had I started this when I was 15, when I wanted to, Jesus Christ, like I would have been successful. And I know that. I know that in my, God damn it, I know that in my soul. I know that. On a positive though, I would say that because I have gone through, I know what it's like to be in school, and I fucking hate it. It makes me miserable. It does not improve my life in any way, shape, and form, and I don't want to be there. I know what it is like to be in shit relationships. I've done those over and over again. I know exactly how they feel, and I don't want to be there. I know what it's like to have a real adult job. It's fucking miserable. I hate it, and I don't want to be there. I know what it's like to be in debt, even though I have multiple degrees, and even though I worked hard, and even though I have an adult day job. I know what it's like to be in debt and live above the means that you should be living. And I don't like it. It makes me miserable, and I'm not going to fucking do that anymore. Like, I got to learn on a very visceral, painful level all of the things I don't want. I know them to a T. I can feel when I'm going down the road of things I do not want. And so because of that, I know exactly what I do want. And it's not about being rich. It's not about being famous. It's about being the fucking best. That makes me happy. Watching it's fun. You know when something clicks in your life where you're like, oh shit. Well, that makes sense why my mentality is kind of like that. When I think back to watching My Hero Academia, like watching Deku do Deku shit. Or watching any anime, really, fucking other anime. Watching those types of animes where someone has to get good at something. Avatar, whatever, that's a little different. That's a little different. But just watching somebody try to become the best at something always gets me excited and makes me happy. I love it. And then watching Michael Jordan, because I watched that dude as a kid. I watched Space Jam. You don't know me. I watched those commercials with Bugs Bunny. I didn't own any Air Jordans. No, I did not. I owned Reeboks and Skechers and shit. Skechers with light up Skechers and Heelys. No, I didn't own Jordans or whatever, but I did watch Michael Jordan. He was a hero of mine growing up as a kid. So watching him as an adult and watching it under the context, like watching him, the behind the scenes and his mentality, and hearing him as an adult versus hearing him as a kid, as a young guy, it just clicks. It just makes sense to me. And it makes me happy. Watching people be good at shit that I don't know how to do always gets me excited and pumped up. And watching him made me feel like, oh, fuck, that's the mentality I need to have. Just be the best. So I think in short, that's kind of where I'm at right now, mentally and emotionally. I feel really happy and I feel really good, feel rejuvenated. I acknowledge I'm not going to feel this way all the time. I'm sure I'll feel down eventually. But that is the goal right now. Maybe that'll change in the future. I don't know, but I doubt it. No, there's one more thing. At some point, I'm going to have to rewatch it eventually. But at some point, he was talking about how he wasn't thinking about anything else but winning. And with basketball, that is a very distinct and clear goal. Like whoever has the most points wins. Whoever scores the most points wins. Whoever gets the most rebounds wins. So on and so forth. Stand-up comedy doesn't work the same, and art is a little different. But I just got to take some time, think about it. I'm sure over time I'll be able to word it better. But that's it. That's what it is. That's what makes me happy. Just trying to be the absolute best. Like undeniable. I've been saying undeniable. But I think there's like Bill Burr type of undeniable where he's just like, yeah, no, I'm funny and nobody can tell me I'm not funny because I'm good at this. And then there's Michael fucking Jordan, undeniable, where grown men are like, yeah, he beat us, but it's kind of an honor to lose to Michael Jordan. That's what the fuck I want. I want to be on shows and for comics to say, yeah, it was an honor bombing after he went up. That's what the fuck, that's what I want. And in case people are misinterpreting me, has nothing to do with you not succeeding. I hope you succeed. I wish you the best. I just plan on trying to be better than you. So, yeah. Come at me, bro. Let's do this. Let's get better together. Let's fucking do this. I think that's about it. So if you know one person you think would enjoy this, share it with them and tell everybody to watch The Last Dance and then and then tell me what you think, I guess.